So normally this week what I'd do is I would grab some baby brine shrimp and feed them to some of the hydras in the lab, and we'd all get a good look at them under the microscope. Unfortunately, one of the casualties of my COVID quarantine was my hydra culture, and the pond kind of looks like this. So today what you're going to get is some old footage and some found footage. Luckily, Tom shared some great links to videos and things in the PowerPoint presentation. But basically, this is hydra. So normally you'd see this guy under the dissecting scope kind of moving around, but you wouldn't really get a good chance to see scale. So this is from a pond sample, and you can see protists kind of moving around, and you get an idea of how big it is. You can see a bud here, and then at the bottom where it secretes the sticky gooey stuff that it uses to glue down to the ground. Now, in Ontario, this is what we're going to find for cnidarians. If you want to see something cooler than that, you're probably best off going away on vacation. But these guys do have all the same body parts and all the same essential cells that make them unique to be a cnidarian. They've got those stinging cnidocytes, which are those stinging cells. But like I said, the best spot to see this stuff is up close under the ocean, away on vacation. And if you get the chance ever to do this, go snorkeling or scuba diving while you're away, get a good look at the bottom and look closely for those sponges and those sea anemones and those corals. Just remember that these are look but don't touch animals. My buddy Dave here knows all about that. Luckily, you don't need to go away on vacation to see many of these things. All you need to do is go to a local aquarium or to the local fish store and visit the saltwater section. Or if you're back on campus at some point after the pandemic is over, go down to the main floor near the elevator and check out the aquarium that Dr. Derek Gray has there. It's a saltwater reef tank filled with fish, and there's a number of small corals in there as well. Like these guys here. These are zoanthids. They're a small colony of soft-bodied polyps. This is a totally different type of coral. This is what we call a small polyp stony coral, and these are the ones that you typically think of when you think of coral reefs. A lot of corals are soft-bodied, so in the middle of his body there, it's a little bit out of focus, but you can see the central mouth. And then all around it, those hair-like projections are the tentacles upon which there'll be those cnidocyte cells. This is a different type of soft-bodied coral. This one here grows in large colonies, filling up with large mats and filter feeding in the water. Not all corals have symbiotic algae living inside of them, but many of them do. This one here is a small anemone, but you can see those small little bulbs. Those are concentrations of those stinging cells kind of moving towards their mouth. This one here is what we would call a large polyp stony coral. So he's got a small, he's got a skeleton that's kind of attached to the rock as well. And then there's the tissue that kind of grows over top of him. But again, photosynthetic, but given a chance to feed, all those little tentacles will kind of grab onto the food item and pull it into your mouth. You can see there's actually a very violent flow in the aquarium, trying to mimic the flow in the reef. And these tentacles are actually able to still grab onto them. If you actually touch them with your fingers, they kind of feel sticky to you. And those are actually those stinging cells actually stinging into your outer cell layers. Another type of large polyp stony is this hammer coral. I'm a big fan of these ones here. The tentacles, I think, are just beautiful. Actually, if you look right in the middle, that head there is about to split. Well, slowly in the process of splitting. You can see there's two separate mouths in the middle. Food's kind of getting brought into the middle there. Probably both of those mouths will feed. Eventually, as this coral continues to grow, those mouths will separate from one another and grow into separate heads. This is the same coral, just different heads from a different angle. here's a good chance to really see the stickiness of the tentacles. They just kind of grab onto the food. Alright guys, that's it for this week. Hopefully this demo is a little bit cooler than Hydra, and I promise next week is worms.